So let's continue with the practical example. In my example, we need a quick introduction. So this is the first scene. Maybe the duration is 50 seconds, and you see the title of the video. And then the second scene should be Jakob, who is introducing himself. Maybe he also thanks the colleague who nominated him, and I think this should be a maximum of 45 seconds. And I also think it's nice if he says in which department he's working for, maybe his age, maybe his job title. So he tries to introduce himself. So the third scene, for example, should also show what the problem is, because we said after the introduction we want to show the problem. So, and for example, Jakob says, or he has a very bad back pain. So maybe he is showing the back pain with his arms, that he is touching his shoulders, and he's maybe looking a bit sad or exhausted. Over here he's looking very happy, but over there he's not so happy anymore. And maybe this takes 20 seconds. So it's about back pain, and he's going to show 3 hints and advise how to actually prevent back pain and what to do when you have back pain. So this is actually the resolution. So we start with the next, we continue with the next scene, which can be the first hint. So the scene 4, and this is just a very short duration, because it just shows that Jakob is going to explain the next hint. So maybe this is 5 seconds. And the first hint can be, I think this is a very nice exercise, to pull up your shoulders to your ears, hold it, and then to bring it down and to imagine that you have a pencil between your shoulders. Also hold it for some seconds, and then pull your shoulders down and also hold it, and then maybe do it again. So he repeats it. So this is scene 5, and this is probably takes 60 seconds. Let's do it like this. And after this, I think he's bringing another hint. So this is again just a slide which shows, okay, now we come to the next hint, which is gonna be another 5 seconds. Oh, I forgot the action. So it's a shoulder exercise. And he's explaining it, what he's gonna do. Show how to do it. So, and maybe the second exercise can be something with the arms, because the arms and shoulders are always connected. And I think of exercise where you put your hands, your right arm, for example, between your left arm, and you try to stretch it. And this you maybe should do for like 30 seconds for each arm. So in total, maybe we need 80 seconds. So this is scene number 7. And of course, then maybe he does some other exercises. I just want to give you a short example. And then we need an end. And write it down over here, the end. I think the end is, like we said, this is about the challenge, and it also should have a gamification. And Jakob, he actually says goodbye. Or he needs to draw him the hat he had in the beginning. he's going to say goodbye, and he's also gonna nominate a colleague of him, and this maybe takes also 30 seconds. So nomination. The action is goodbye. And then we have the last slide. And this is just something which maybe takes 10 seconds. Maybe it's interesting or important to write the contact details of the person who is organizing all these videos. So this can be writing down over here. Yes, and then I think that's it. This is actually the storyboard of our video. And to complete it, it's not only important to write down the scene, the action, the dialogue, and also the duration. It's also important to put some details. So, for example, I'm just using another blue color. You can use arrows to show the motions of a video. So in scene 5, we said he's going to show a shoulder exercise. So first it's going up, then it's going back, and then he's going down again. He's pulling the shoulders down. So this is for the shoulders. Over here he's smiling, of course, and over here he's smiling as well. Maybe he's a little bit exhausted. And over here, he's doing the arm and stretching it on the other side. And at the end, he is saying goodbye, and he is actually smiling. So, yeah, this is something we can do. Like, we can also write down or draw down what the emotions of the person is. And we can also use the arrows to show the motion underneath each side, and we can also put some more notes. And we can also go into detail about the character of the person, which can be also important for the voiceover. And so we come to the final step. When we have this sort of video, this sort of storyboard, it's also important that you show it to some colleagues. So be open and ask for feedback, because it's important that you show a storyboard to everyone who is involved in the process. And yes, they should also have a look into the learning content and the graphical, for example, preparation. And your colleagues can probably make you aware of misunderstandings. So now we have the visual plan, and we can think of what needs to be done. So first, the responsibilities. Who will provide the content? We said the employees are going to provide the content on their own, and who can actually help. So first I write down the employees as the providers of the learning content. And I think the trainers of digital learning, they can actually they are the helpers and supporters for the employees. So they support the people by producing the video. They are also responsible for the internal platform and also give the framework of the practical advice for healthy work. And the trainers of digital learning, they also add, for example, the corporate identity on the videos, and they take care of the operation of the project. So in the beginning, he or she is going to have a lot to do, but by time, the people socialize with the digital media and they need less support. So it's important for the trainer that he gives help for self-help. And this is not only important to have less work, it's also important that he, for the organizational change. And who will actually decide? Well, the employees, they decide on their own about the content. And the trainer of digital learning, he or she actually decides about the meta plan. So after the responsibilities, I think we can look into the activities. So what must be done? What needs to be clarified or applied? And well, I think we have two levels. We have the organizational level. And for this, it's very important that we have the leaders on board, because they should support the initiative Practical Advice for Healthy Work. And they also need to provide time budget for producing and watching the videos. So this is something we can also call project marketing. And then we have a second level, which is the operational level. And for the operational level, it's important that the employees, they get a guideline from the trainer of digital learning. And in this guideline, for example, it's written down that the employees should do a video of maximum 10 minutes with their smartphone or with their webcam. So you need technical information. And it's also important that it's clear that the colleagues give advices for physical and mental health. So physical and mental health. So let's see what we produced.
Ich durfte euch heute ein paar Übungen vorstellen, die gegen Rückenschmerzen helfen können, die durch das ständige Sitzen am Arbeitsplatz auftreten. Ich nominiere die Stefanie, die darf euch nächste Woche ein paar neue Übungen vorstellen. Also viel Spaß, Stefanie.
So, last but not least, we are going to complete the digital learning canvas. What are the benefits for the learning target group? And I think this is very clear. The learning target group, we said young people between 20 and 30 are going to get an impression about a healthy work style. And another benefit is also to look into the impact of the organization. And so we can ask ourselves, what is the impact of the organization? And I think that it's the employees get socialized with the digital media. And for example, they learn how to handle the using and producing of digital media, and they also support the colleagues. It also supports the media competencies and encourages the community. And on the long term, you get a other way of team spirit. It also going to achieve our other objective, preventing physical and mental health issues. So thank you for your time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you liked the video and you got a good impression about doing a storyboard. I wish you a good day and have fun.